What's up, everybody? I love you so much. I'm your host, Emma Mae McDaniel, and I am so thankful to welcome you to the Have You Heard podcast. Guys, if y'all did not know, we are in the middle of an incredible series with my sweet Momma J, and I am so glad that you're here. So without further ado, grab your headphones and let's get into the word. I think this is part 5 of an incredible series. Mm-hmm. I'm so thankful for this. It's been so much fun. I've been so refreshed, and every single conversation, I think this is so cool how they've kind of like fed into the next, which is really sweet how that happens. But I'm really glad you're here this week.
I'm glad to be here.
What is something that made you smile today?
Something that has made me smile. Oh, so your dad went grocery shopping this morning and brought me back flowers, which he always does, but it made me smile this morning.
Oh, Dad's sweet.
He's so sweet. Yes.
And tell them about your 3 necessities in a planter's pot.
Yes, so I have 3 planters on our back patio, and before Dad went to the store, he said, he's going to get some plants to go in the pots. Is there something that I was wanting? And I said, I need a thriller, a spiller, and a filler. Which he had never heard of this before. Me and Emma had heard of this before. But you need something that has height, that's your thriller. You need something that spills over, that's your spiller. And then you need something that fills your pot, and that's your filler.
And it actually is the perfect trio. Yeah. It makes your pot
and he did
look
a good
complete.
Job. He got me all 3.
He did. It looks really pretty on the porch right now. I love that. I'm so excited, y'all, because today we are taking questions that y'all have sent in and we're answering them. And this is so fun. Something that y'all asked is actually multiple times is asking you, Mom, what is a funny story you remember from me growing up? Which I love that question because it just brings me joy.
There's so many funny stories. Emma, just because you have my tendencies where you have no grace about you whatsoever. So our hand-eye coordination is completely off. She gets that from me. But the one story that comes to my mind, you were probably, I would say, are about 6 years old. And we were telling you something, me and your dad, we were telling you something, and you kept saying, but, and we were, no more buts. Don't say but. And you were like sitting there and you were just staring at us and you said, I have a butt in my mouth. I have a butt in my mouth.
There's a butt in here.
I need to let it out.
Y'all said I couldn't let it out, but it's in here.
Yes,
That's
you were
so
always
funny.
so literal. Like everything was so literal. And so that was something that was really funny. Another one that comes to my mind is Emma has these big brown eyes. And we actually have this on video. We watched this on family videos. But we were dyeing Easter eggs. And this is, Emma's probably pre-K kindergarten age. And I've got all the beach towels covering the kitchen table so that no Easter egg dye gets on the table at all. And you are dyeing an Easter egg and you go and it plops into a glass cup. And so when it does, it makes like a splash and a noise. And you look up at me with these big brown eyes and you kind of had this deep voice and you're like, it's okay, Mom, it's okay. So we still say that today.
We do.
For stuff like, it's okay, it's okay.
I was about to say, I feel like both of those stories have honestly carried up until now because I still am so literal.
Yes.
Like in so many different aspects. It's so funny. Josh will be like, Emma, I wasn't literally meaning that in so many different scenarios. And then also you're so right. Like sometimes I'll even tell Josh, I'm like, it's okay, Josh. It's okay. Or I'll say, it's okay, Mom. It's okay. Like we just kept that a thing.
Yes.
Whenever I saw that question come in, one of my first thoughts was whenever me and one of my best friends growing up, Katie was babysitting us.
Oh, I know exactly.
And how old were we? Like 4?
Y'all were, so you were probably 4. Yeah, I would say 4, pre-K.
Pre-K.
Yeah.
And my best friend, she was my age. We were over at our house and I think we asked permission if we could like get the scissors, or we may have even asked like, could we cut our hair? And we were told
if you
no.
asked, I was going to say, if you asked and Katie said yes, I need to go talk to Katie.
No, I'm pretty sure we asked and we were told no, but we went and got the scissors anyway. Mm-hmm. And my best friend cut my hair and I cut her hair, and then we went and cut the cat's hair. That poor cat. That poor cat.
Well, you and her, y'all got in trouble a lot. Y'all were always into something.
We did. She was the friend that, like, no matter what Sunday, she was coming home with me or I was coming home with her after church. Yes. Like, it was all sleepovers all the time.
Yes.
But that was a story that came to my mind. Is I feel like every little kid has that story where they cut their hair at some point. Yes. But I think it's just so funny that I never cut mine. We cut each other's. It's like we wanted to play stylist for a day and then also on the cat.
Yes. And then Katie had to call me and let me know what had happened.
Which she felt terrible.
Yes, she did. Yes.
Oh, Katie. So this next question I really, really loved, because I feel like what you're about to share, I'm going to take a lot and just tuck away in my heart too. Somebody asked, were you ever afraid to have kids because of how your body was going to change? And I know that you've talked about your postpartum journey and how that, like, your physical features changing was such a hard thing to navigate. And so I would love for you to speak to that.
Yeah, I don't ever remember being fearful of having kids for fear of my body changing. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's probably a little bit of fear there, but it wasn't significant enough that I am remembering that. I think mine was more the fact that my body changed and now you just have to deal with that. And so I do think that it's probably more awareness now, but just because of social media and everybody's so much more aware of what that process may look like. And so you have a little bit more fear on the front side versus it just being something that's after the fact now. I would say that since my perspective is more about the after, the postpartum, it's one of those things after your first child. I think if you don't have a community around you that helps you normalize it, to know that this is normal, like this is a journey. What I do love is people that actually, if they're going to be on social media, they're very real. Like, okay, this is what actually postpartum looks like. And that sometimes it could be a year to get back to something that you're happy with. Sometimes it could be 2 years. Sometimes it's 7 months. So like kind of the conversations we've been having over the past few weeks about your faith journey, like this is a journey that looks very different for everyone. And that grace that you actually give yourself is really, really important here for your mental health. And so the fact of the matter is your body will change. But it's such a beautiful thing, an exchange that you're getting for a shift and a change in the body, that it's so small in the grand scheme of things. When you really take a 50,000 foot view perspective, it is so small. But yes, like going to our conversation, I think what's important is that you're just really real. The fact that that's going to be a hard part of postpartum. You're used to one body. You're used to one size. This is the size pants I wear. This is the size dress I wear. And
this is the energy level
This is the energy level I have. This is what I look like in this outfit. And that does change. And I would say it's not just about having babies. It changes just with seasons of life. Like, I'm in my 40s now. And so like my body's changing yet again. And I have not had a kid in, 20, 21 years. But it's just, I think it's just part of it. It's the reminder that we are in a fallen world. We are not here forever. And we are on a clock. And it is what it is. But yeah, I do think that it's about surrounding yourself with community, being very genuine and authentic about the struggles and how it's playing mentally in your head, and not feeling bad about that. Like there is a grieving process to what it was before to what it will be, and the journey it's going to take to get the body back to where you would want it. But oh my goodness, the little human that you get to now have as part of your family, it's such a very small price to pay.
Yeah. I remember hearing this one time, and I just never forgot it. that it's so freeing whenever you're not so consumed with how your body looks, but you are filled with gratitude for what your body is capable of.
Yes.
And I thought that was such a great, healthy perspective, because just speaking to what you're saying, that you have a precious child that you're not able to care for. And that does mean that my body looks different for a season, but instead of getting insecure and letting that dominate the season I'm in, being like, wow, this is symbolizing the fact that I'm capable of carrying a human. And I think that's beautiful. And I love how you're talking about the importance of community.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I even think of whenever I had just found out I was pregnant and I was going to one of my first appointments, and I had been so excited, so looking forward to it. And then like the morning of, I remember feeling like almost like I just felt really chill, and I felt really normal, I guess, whatever that word means. And I felt terrible for it. Like it felt like, oh, this is just a doctor's appointment. And it wasn't that my excitement went away, but the gratitude went away, but the emotions that I felt like I was supposed to be having weren't there. And it was so hard for me. But I remember I was able to get clarity in my perspective and not carry that guilt with me all throughout the day, because I talked with you and I talked with Josh about it. I was like, hey, I feel bad because I'm not carrying balloons into the doctor's appointment. I feel bad because I'm not jumping over the moon that I'm about to have a baby. But I'm excited, but why don't my emotions align with the gratitude in my heart? And to have y'all share with me, like, you're normal. The days to come of you being a mom, you're going to have days where you're feeling it and days where you're not. And if you have this expectation on yourself that you're supposed to feel this way all the time, you are setting yourself up for exhaustion and disappointment. And that in and of itself is a whole other encouragement. But I think what was so huge was I had people that I went and was just really honest with, and I wasn't battling it just in my head, and I was able to have y'all speak into it. And I think that also set the tone for when the baby does come, because I'm like, okay, like I'm going to carry that truth, but also I'm going to remember I can go to my people and talk about it.
Yeah. And that's, I think, vocalizing is what's so important.
Yeah.
Because again, everybody's journey looks different, but just knowing that you have someone to share it with. But I think the validation of the fear and the frustration is real. There's nothing wrong with being scared about that or being frustrated that your body changed. Those are all very, very valid emotions, and no one should feel bad that they have those emotions. Just knowing that it's a season and it's a process, and you can surround yourself with people that can actually speak into it to help you move along the journey. And what you gain from it is so much greater than what you would have missed at, because you would miss out on so much otherwise. Yeah.
100%. And I think what I'm hearing you say too is there's a difference between having frustrated, not feeling it, like just having those off moments, off days, versus thinking that your identity is in your appearance.
Yes.
There's a total difference, because when I'm feeling it, I'm able to speak truth into it and be gracious and move forward. When it's my identity, it's all consuming.
Yep.
So I love all the questions that you guys send in. They're so much fun. And I love how they speak to different seasons too. Somebody asked, how did you know that Josh was a good potential spouse for Emma?
Yeah, so what's funny about y'all's story is we did not know. I mean, we knew who Josh was, but we didn't know. But when we were dropping you off at Liberty, this guy in this yellow Jeep was like a gnat. He just didn't go away. He was always there.
We were always
who
there.
Is this guy, and why is he always here? It's like he's a ninja. Like he just shows up.
Yeah, it was like in the cafeteria. It was at church. It was moving into the dorm. It was like, hey, Josh.
But I think as I got to know Josh, I think what really stood out to me is y'all's differences. And I think when I think of me and Dad and the differences, like we truly are like this hand in glove. And that's what's made our marriage work so well, is that when I'm down, he's able to lift me up. And when he's getting frustrated, I'm able to pull him out of it, because we just have such different perspectives on life.
Yeah.
We come from different, not completely different backgrounds, but we come from different views and different backgrounds. And I think it just, when I met Josh and knew kind of where his strengths were and his background and where he came from, then you look at you and where your strengths are and where our family background, it was just like, wow, like this is powerful. Like I can really see them truly like iron sharpening iron, and them really being a power couple for the kingdom. I think like one of the things is that, you're very risk averse. It's all about, we want to make sure let's get it just right. It's got to be just right before. And one of the things about Josh is not that he's completely risk averse, but he's willing to take the risk. Like he's like, no, let's go do it. Let's get it. Let's get it done. And I think he pulls you out, and I saw him do it, pulling you out of your comfort zone. And I knew that was definitely going to cause growth. And I do remember Lisa Long, your to Mama.
Yes.
When you were making a decision to step into a relationship with Josh or not, one of the questions that she asked you when I was on the phone, it was all three of us, and she said, "What will you be giving up if you step in this relationship?"
Such a good question.
And we all kind of were talking. She's like, and you said, the only thing that I can think of that I would be giving up, because she said, if you step in, you have to give up something. Like you have, there's a cost
require
for everything.
Sacrifice.
And you said, the only thing that I can think of that I'm giving up is going to be fear. Like I'm going to have to give up fear if I'm going to be in this relationship. And that's what I also saw, that with Josh, you were going to have to step into some uncomfortability and really push yourself to grow in what areas that you really had probably tiptoed around and dodged. And I think that's when I knew, like, this could be a really healthy thing. And this is definitely something that God would bless.
I agree. That's such a great question to ask before getting into a relationship. What am I sacrificing? And is it anything godly? And does this person help me become more of who God has called me to be? Because I was sacrificing things that grew me in godliness by stepping into a relationship with Josh. Does not mean it was perfect, but it required me to grow in ways I needed to.
Yep.
And you called it out too, which was affirming, because you're a trusted person in my life. So for you to say, I see this and it's good, that was also really encouraging too.
I agree. And look, it's worked out.
I would say it's worked out. 2 years married, I would say it was a very good decision.
Yes.
Oh, guys, thank you for your questions. We're so excited to talk to y'all next week, and we love you gobs and gobs. Bye, y'all.
See ya.